Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
My name is Dr. Kent Mercado, and I'm running for Congress. For the past 25 years, I've served the 11th District as a physician, an attorney, and a humanitarian. I'm running for Congress to have a larger impact and to bring your voice to Washington. I visited every county in the district, and I've met with thousands of people, listening and learning from them about their concerns. I found that family values and kitchen table issues are what's most important. So we need to reignite the economy, improve our educational system, ensure the safety of our communities, provide access to affordable physical and mental health care, and of course support our farmers. I'm Dr. Kent Mercado, and I'm running for Congress to be your voice. Together we can make sustainable solutions for our nation.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, I should probably do those individually. No, I like it together. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was just on a podcast, right, with a medical doctor, and he took me all the way. He was so intrigued about my admitting to ADHD. I said, of course, that's my superpower. It is, it is, it is. I'm so happy to be back. I know, you guys. We had a lot of 2 days last week, Friday, Thursday and Friday reruns because I was on the road speaking, but I'm back. I'm back. I'm back, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments, and I'm your host, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris. And what a great show we have for you today. But before we get in there, Dr. Kent McCardle, you saw we started running that promo today. Good friend of mine. Right? Have you ever read those books with that detective? And she's also, no, she's not a detective. Well, what is she? She's a lawyer and a coroner. K. Scarpetta. Yeah, it's a book, a bunch of books. Fiction, of course. So I used to love those books. So when I met Kent, Dr. Kent, he's a lawyer and a surgeon. Overachieved much? Now he's running for Congress. I love people like that because you just keep reaching for higher and higher diving boards. I just love it. I love it just like I love you. So listen, couple announcements. I have a great guest for you today. She's all the way from the UK, somewhere over there. I can tell you in a minute. But before we get her in here, I have an announcement. What is it? Oh, if you are out at the newsstands, it is officially out. You can touch it with your own hands. I would go and buy one, but I already ordered mine and they're coming in the mail. We are in the Los Angeles Tribune magazine as we speak for our trip, our Legacy of Hope tour back in May, where myself and 11 of my coaching clients went to Romania and we served some kids. It was they served us, to tell you the truth. I came away a changed man. So anyway, you can read all about it in the Los Angeles Tribune magazine. Thank you so much to David Fagan of Top Talent Management and PR for gifting us with this wonderful opportunity. Also, if you are in the San Diego area next week, I'll be gone. I'll be there, but I will be broadcasting live from the beautiful city of San Diego as I go to, hey y'all, to be the MC for the look. You see it up there, the RPXP retreat, the Red Pill. It's a whole Matrix kind of thing. So you can't see behind the thing, but I'm really like floating. I'm levitating. Okay, I'm not. But give me a minute. I'm gonna learn. So it's gonna be really interesting. They asked me to speak, but I was so intimidated by all the different people. I said, can I just be the MC? So that's what I'm doing. And I will also, one other thing, if you're in Chicago, at the Mexican American Museum, I said that wrong. It's the Mexican Heritage Museum in downtown Chicago. I'll be there this coming Sunday. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow because they're going to get me the promos today. So anyway, today, what are we talking about today? Today, well, she doesn't know it, but I've chosen the road we're going to go down. My guest today is from the UK, like I said, and I forgot where. Oh, one more thing before I get into that. Pray for me. I need your light, love, and encouragement. Tomorrow, Attorney Jen Mitchell flies into Chicago from Boulder, Colorado, to be the first person who is, I started Legacy Builders Masterclass Company about Am I back? That's Comcast. I got it from Comcast. Comcast. And boy, but I'm going to just tell you, you all know every month before I pay my bill, I call them and I get credit for every one of those outages. You should too. I'm just going to say. So anyway, man, where was I? Anyway, okay, our guest today, Annalieza. I love her name. Annalieza. I could be not pronouncing it quite as luxuriously as it could be, but she's going to give us the Beautiful way to say it. She has 999 friends on her page. Is that an angel number? If so, what does that one mean? I love it. 999. So anyway, let me tell you about her. She's the founder and coaching lead at Zealand Coaching Spa. Who ever heard of a coaching spa? They do things so differently over there. And she's also the chief executive officer and founder at Make Your Marquee LTD. That was a great band, by the way, from the 70s, LTD. And she's just got a whole bunch of stuff. She studied acting, you guys, at the Birmingham School of Acting. To be or not to be? That really is the question. So listen, she's a first timer, never been here. Get on your feet. Throw some virtual hearts on the screen. They're free, they're painless, and they feel so good because here she comes. Lady Landa. Lady Landa! Calling, pick up a white pager phone.
Oh, Lady Landa. I love it. I'm thinking
of the title.
I'm thinking of the Beach Boys now and Lady Linda. I've got that playing in my head now.
You are lean your head forward. Or no, your shoulder. They do it on the shoulder on one side and then the other. You are now Lady Landa. Tell us about yourself. I'm going to dip out, let you say good morning in your own spiritual language, your own frequency, create your own vibe with all these wonderful people out there. I see you guys. Here she is. Tell them a little bit about you and I'll come back in and we'll get started.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Lauren, for having me on your show. And it's a pleasure to be here, everybody. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. I'm Annalisa, as Dr. Lauren said. I'm also known as the values differentiator because I help people and brands and leaders to make a difference in their lives, in their leadership, in their workplaces, in the world, through building on better values foundations and to convert values, higher values, into growth.
And where are you in the world? Where are you precisely over there in the UK?
That's a good question. Yes. So I am in Yorkshire, East Yorkshire to be exact.
Yorkshire, as in the pudding?
As in the pudding and as in the Yorkshire Terrier.
I was going to say.
Yeah. You might hear my dog in the background.
I was just going to say.
He's a bit grumpy today, but he's not a Yorkshire Terrier. But yeah. So yeah, home of the Yorkshire pudding. It's the biggest county in England, and I'm right by a beautiful, beautiful river, the Humber, which goes into actually the biggest estuary as well in England too. So it's a beautiful part of the world. We're semi-rural, so it feels like we're out in the country, but we're very close to the city of Kingston upon Hull, birthplace of William Wilberforce, who I'm sure everybody will have heard of. So yeah, so he's one of my heroes, and has very much, I suppose, shaped my desire to do something to change the world as well.
So okay, well, what was it? Let me just randomly pick a date in the past, an age rather. So let's say at the age of 18, what did Annalisa see herself doing today? Are you doing what you saw yourself or thought you would be doing then now? Or was that just the launch pad that grew you into the woman we're seeing here today? Tell us about that little origin story.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So age 18, I suppose I saw myself walking the red carpet at that age.
Oh my God.
I had dreams of Hollywood. I've been brought up on Hollywood films.
Oh my God.
Musicals.
And you see that I did not plan this because how did I know you were going to say that? I did too.
Oh, wow.
And was on
fantastic.
The front and back of the girl. We were meant to be besties. Maybe you can come over because I was on the cover. Guess what? Brian and I get to go, my husband, we get to go to an Oscar party.
Oh, wow.
This year. I know all the cover models get to go to an Oscar party. If I can swing it, do you want to come over and go?
yes, please.
You could
Oh
walk a
gosh,
red
that
carpet.
would be my dream. It
Well,
really
maybe
would.
you've already walked a few carpets of the red color. Have you?
Have I walked a few carpets of red colour? I suppose the nearest I've ever come to my Oscar moment was leading a business to victory in Business of the Year. I class that as my Oscar moment so far.
There you go. Well,
but
not
yeah,
done.
but
You're not done
I'm
yet.
not. I'm absolutely not done
Far
yet.
from it.
That's not going to be my definitive moment. No,
So
I'm not done yet.
can I? I'm going to throw a little. We're going to watch a little bit of a clip from one of my favorite people. One of my favorite people. I'm going to say it a third time because that's how much I love her. I want to talk. It's Angela Duncan. Are you familiar with her?
I'm not familiar with Angela Duncan. No.
She has done TED Talks and she's got this. She just, oh my goodness, I just love her. I wanted us because I love that you do so much, and you just did a thing on your LinkedIn audio series about passion, and I saw it, and you had some great guests, and so I thought we could talk a little bit about the power of passion today, and we can use a little bit of this. Oh, I just saw that movie I love. You want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. See, that's my ADHD. Sorry. I thought we could use this to kind of serve as a launch pad for a topic today. So let's take a look.
Now, here is my theory of achievement all on one slide. And it actually recalls Will Smith's very, very wise words about
Before he
talent
slapped
versus
somebody.
effort. I think that both matter.
Just saying.
I would love to stand up here and tell you that you're all equally talented and that your children are all geniuses. But in fact, it's not true. Children sometimes learn more quickly than others. And in particular, they may have more talent for one thing, basketball, math, versus another. So I define talent quite narrowly as the rate at which you can accumulate skill when you try. A very talented person will accumulate skill faster than a less talented one. But as Will Smith and Princess Galton and Catherine Cox point out, effort matters too, and they are truly separable. In my research, when I measure things like IQ, a proxy for intellectual talent, I find that the correlation, the relationship between that measure and grit is 0. And sometimes negative, suggesting that in that sample, those who are more able, who learn more quickly and easily, may be less hardworking, less determined, less committed over the long term than others.
Okay, let's stop there and start there. Grit. You hear it kind of, sort of, but not really. And I think a lot of us, yeah, whatever, grit. Okay, I love me some grits and eggs, that kind of thing. What does grit mean to you?
It means staying in the ring, even when it's getting really tough, even when the world is telling you to get out of it. When you know deep down that you can't because you've got a purpose, you've got a calling, and that is between, as far as I'm concerned, that's between me and God. And therefore, I know what I've been called to do. And even though it might look crazy to some people that I am refusing to get out of the ring when sometimes I get knocked down, that refusal to stay on the mat, that refusal to, if I do get knocked onto it, that I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep going no matter what. So yeah, just
determination,
tenacity, resilience, and hope. So that hope that fuels, that is fueled by faith, fueled by belief, and keeping my eye very clearly on the vision and what I see ahead of me, as opposed to what my present circumstances dictate. So I think that is what grit means. It means learning to cope with adversity, and just literally gritting your teeth, and being so. You mentioned that word passionate. You have to have passion, to stay there, because sometimes it really hurts. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to be fueled by that,
Okay.
by loving what you do, and also that desire to serve and fulfill your calling as well.
I say this too. I'm going to piggyback on that. Because a lot of people, and thank you for that. I agree 1000%. But let's talk about this. I think we all have that. We all have passion. But where I think a lot of people fall short, a lot of us, and I include myself from time to time in that, is that you really, if you want to squeeze all of the possibility out of the opportunity towel till it's bone dry, you cannot, or you should not have a shared custody agreement with your passion. It right after my life drawing breath, which I must draw in order to stay here and do my work, I want to be, as soon as I exhale that breath, before I draw the next one, I want to see my passion staring me right back into the, into my soul, boring a hole into my soul. So how do you feel about the dangers of picking up and laying it down, that shared custody agreement? Because a lot of us lay it down or forget about it when we think things are tough or hard. And for me, my passion is what gets me back up. It is my grit. That's just for me. How about you? How do you deal with it?
Yeah, I agree with you in exactly the same way. My passion, what I've put into it, what I've invested into it, the belief that I had, never losing sight of my why and what motivated me to take this journey. I have been guilty of laying things down in the past. I have been guilty of quitting too easily in the past, in my youth, definitely, and I've had a lot of regrets, and the pain of that, of not being able to turn the clock back and have that time again, the pain of quitting too soon stays with you and fuels that determination that, well, I'm not going to do it again, because you only get so many chances, right? You only get so many opportunities.
Yeah.
So so you have to, if you do get another opportunity, it's like, wow, I'm not going to squander this one. God, thank you for this opportunity. I'm not going to quit this time. And I'm going to show you that I'm not going to quit this time. And I'm going to keep going no matter what. I'm going to show you just how much I want this. So that's
okay.
what. Yeah.
So let's, here's one. Because here we are well, are we? I don't know how that should go. I was going to say post-pandemic, but we're not real. I think it'll always be around, COVID, like the flu, that kind of thing. But the pandemic, the way we, give me some grapefruit. I want to stick my head over a pot and boil it to kill it. All that kind of stuff. Oh, let me go get 1,000 rolls of toilet paper. All of that. At least we're on the other side of all that for now. But as far as mindset and how we believe within our purpose, I think that the pandemic helped a lot of people understand, you know what? I can do this. I can be that. I can go there. I can change this. All those things that prior to, we were like Stepford people. A lot of people are independent now, hence a lot of remote work. Offices where people thought they'd be driving in traffic every day for the rest. Look how much time people lost, caught in traffic to work, to home. You get up and do all this. And now a lot of us wake up, we're already at work, get off work, we're already at home. Opens up a lot more time to think about the things that are important to you, as well as execute those things. How has the pandemic blessed you personally?
For a start, as a coach, an executive coach, it blessed me in as much as I was able to keep working through the pandemic and coach virtually. So that was a blessing. But I also got back in touch with my creative roots during that time as well. So I took my foot off the pedal a little bit of my business, and took that opportunity to get creative again and to just connect with my acting background and acting roots. And I used Canva to create lots of different sets for me, and got quite advanced at it in layering and creating background sets, and doing little songs on Facebook and stuff, and just doing the kinds of things that I wouldn't have done ordinarily, that even now, you know, now that we're back into the fray, I'm not making that time for. There was a little bit of time for indulging in play and connecting with the things that gave me joy, and still do give me joy, you know, when I have the luxury of time to be able to do them.
Yeah. What would you say was the most important lesson for you about yourself that you learned? For me, I learned how comfortable I was being myself, being with myself. You know, being quarantined didn't faze me one bit, you see, because I'm out front with people every day, mostly all day, every day. And I was like, ooh, I love this private time. And I learned that I really do love being with myself. What was your greatest life lesson personally from the COVID experience, the pandemic?
I think I realized how much my faith actually.
Oh, well, she just dropped right out. Well, she's all the way in the UK. She'll be back. And you know what? Write down what she was talking about. Faith. I'll write it down. She said, so that we can pick back up when she gets back in. She's on her way back. In the meantime, so we don't waste any time, and it's never about just one thing, I am going to go to a commercial break. Here's a new show coming to Trajectory in just 2 weeks. Sid McNary, Rise with Sid McNary. He is running for president in 2028, and he's bringing a show to my network, and I can't wait to share him with you. We'll be right back after 1 minute. Annalise is in the green room, ready to pick back up where we left off. Don't you dare go away. Great time to share out the broadcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels. Look at this thing back there. Wait for it. There I am. I can't see myself good. Anyway, guess who's back? Welcome back. If you wanted to just go and get a bagel or something. Hey. Oh, wait. I have a question for you. ADHD in 3, 2, 1. Were you a Marmite baby?
I love Marmite.
Yeah. So you hate peanut butter, I bet.
No, I love peanut butter too.
Usually they don't like it.
We have a combination over here. We can actually get peanut butter mixed with Marmite.
Excuse me.
Seriously, I didn't think it would work, but I tried it and it actually does.
Marmite, for those of you who are not in the know, because I had a roommate from Manchester, England, when I lived in Hollywood. Hi, Quint Starkey. And he was like, slathered it on a muffin or so. I was like, woo. And I was like, oh my God. Ugh, tastes like motor oil. But in Australia, they have Vegemite.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
And it's the
Vegemite.
same thing. And there's something about being a Marmite baby.
Right. Okay. Is that?
Okay. So that was a little off topic. But anyway, pick up some and see. Get it online. Tell me what you think. So before we got rudely interrupted by the StreamYard gods, you were telling us about your faith during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because I got really angry. So there are two good things that came out of it. First, like you, I realized, how actually quite independent I was and how comfortable I was in my own company. So that was, that was a positive that came out of that. A negative that came out of it, was how angry I got with God. So my faith definitely took a bit of a wobble, I would say.
You got angry with God during the pandemic?
I did get angry with God
about
during the pandemic,
what?
yeah. I was
What were
so
you mad about?
disappointed. I was disappointed. I was hurt. I was angry that so many good people were dying and he was seemingly doing nothing about it. All these angels who are trying to stop other people and prevent other people from dying were dying. Children were losing their parents. And yet, you could look at all kinds of things that happened in history, like the world wars, like the Holocaust, and question the same thing. And of course, people, even in the concentration camps, didn't lose their faith. In fact, in many cases, their faith kept them going. They kept praying as much as possible. And so the only difference was that I could work out was that this was affecting me. It was affecting me. It was affecting my life. This was something I was living through. It wasn't something in the history books. It was something that, this major world event that I was going through, and it made me question a lot. Suddenly my intellect kicked in and started asking a lot of questions that I couldn't answer. Equally, my faith and my spiritual side was also kicking in. So there's a little bit of spiritual schizophrenia going on here because, the intellect started asking a lot of questions, all those things that kind of make sense, right? My spiritual side was saying, yes, but what about all these experiences that you had that you've had, you can't refute? What about them?
What about it?
And in the end, my head was just going round and round. I decided, look, you're not going to have any answers. You either have to decide. You still have your faith or you don't have your faith. What's it going to be? And I couldn't, my faith is so deeply rooted. I had to park the intellect and, take the advice of Paul, who says, do not rely on your own understanding. Do not rely on your intellect,
Can I ask you something? I'm sorry. Did you remember? Okay. And I'm assuming that how it started, it felt like it was way out touching the world. And then it started moving into, it kept closer, like it was stalking my world. First, I didn't know anybody that even had it. And then you started hearing about people closer and closer. Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, I could hear the footsteps of it coming down the hallway. And then I was literally on a panel on a Monday. And there was, rest in peace, Dr. Jessica Sanchez. We were all on this panel, and she was out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then that Wednesday, I was on her show, and she asked me to choose the topic, and she had just lost her grandfather to COVID. So we talked about the art of grieving, and we talked about it, and she was like, my allergies. And then she was going to record. I was going to record her on Saturday because she wasn't available during the week. So I could have her on my show that Monday, pre-recorded. And I sat there waiting and waiting and waiting. And she didn't show up. And then the guy whose panel we were on Monday texted me and said, oh, did you hear about Dr. Jessica Sanchez? She passed away this morning from COVID that fast. That I was flat. I was down. Because that was the last live interview. and I ended up having to, not having to, but was requested that I speak at her memorial virtually, of course. And it just, I got angry too then, just like you. And I'm so grateful to you for being so transparent about that, Annalisa, because I've never admitted that until now, that I was angry at God at that time for the same reasons. But let's use that to pivot here. So because you were saying about your work, and so you got to continue doing what you were doing, but then, it kind of changed and grew you beyond where you were at the time. So tell us how it affected this work that you do, because you are the founder at Make Your Marquee. Tell us about this work. What does that mean, make your marquee?
It's actually Mark. Okay, it's just Mark. Rhymes
Oh,
with
why
spark.
do I think it says marquee?
It would be 2 E's if it was marquee. So yeah,
Well,
so the one is
high school diploma. What can I say? Well, wait a minute. So why isn't it just MARK?
because I wanted, first of all, to reflect the fact that
Girl.
that we're all unique, that we all have something special to bring to the world. So it was about, making your unique mark on the world, your imprint, your positive imprint.
How many people get that wrong when they read it?
Yeah, I'd say probably 50-50. Yeah, 50-50. It's from the French, actually, for name or brand. That's where it comes from. So it's not very fashionable these days, but prestige cars, high performance prestige cars, your Bentleys and your Ferraris and your Lamborghinis. So
You mean those
they
cars are
are
real? I thought they were just in the movies. People actually have those. I'm kidding. I knew that much.
They're technically called Mark cars. But
Yes.
we just Mark cars. So yeah. So it was kind of like, there was the analogy there with high performance prestige cars that are, that have that something special, that wow factor. They go for excellence. They're built for excellence. They're built for reliability. They're not your everyday go from A to B car. They enlarge you, and I think every leader should work on enlarging and illuminating the people around them as well, and pointing out their gifts and what they have to bring to the world. It's not just about the leader and themselves and what they have to offer. So it works on many levels.
So what is it? Is it a coaching program? Is it a community? Is it a tribe? What is it?
When I set it up, I really wanted to grow a movement. I really wanted that to be a rallying cry of make your mark, because I'd worked in some organizations where the status quo, keeping a steady ship, was and mediocrity therefore was more, was accepted more than, shall we say, the long-term pain of creating something that was special and going for excellence instead of average. So it was, so what I've done now, it was a business. I mean, Make Your Mark is the name of my business, the name of my brand, as it were. I'm known as the values differentiator because I've kind of evolved from just doing leadership and executive training to helping people to build their lives on better values foundations based on my own experiences, based on wishing that I knew 20, 30 years ago what I know today, wishing that I paid more attention to my character, going back again to quitting too easily, throwing in the towel too easily when things got tough, paid more attention to my character and the values on which I was building my life. My life would be, I think, different today. I would certainly have avoided some of the experiences that I regret in my life. And, some of, the guilt and the shame that we carry from doing things that we wish we hadn't done, or things that we said that we wish we hadn't said. If we were living to our highest values and being aware that our values, which are based on our beliefs, drive our thoughts, our words, our actions, our behavior, ultimately shape our character and ultimately shape our results and our outcomes, and whether our relationships are successful or not, whether our our businesses, our hopes, our goals, etc., whether we achieve those things, we can see all around us that people do attain a level of success, but some way down the line, their character fails them. We see it with politicians. We see it with celebrities all the time. And, you know, charm and charisma might open doors for you, but they're not enough to sustain your career as whatever you are, whether you're a leader, whether you're an actor, whether you are in politics. We see it time and time again, people thinking that they can get away with so much. And then eventually they create their own, you know, they're the engineers of their own downfall, because their character, their weaknesses will catch up with them in the end. We have to learn from these lessons. We have to learn, and we have to all, if we want a better world, we all have to take responsibility for that and shine the light in on ourselves, which is very uncomfortable, but it's something that I had to do when I noticed certain patterns emerging in my life, you know, just certain things that were unfavorable, things that were making me unhappy, emerged. And I was like, you know, why does this keep happening? Why do I find myself in this situation? Or why am I always drawn to jobs or workplaces that make me unhappy? Or why am I always drawn to kind of, you know, relationships that might make me unhappy? You know, just these questions. If patterns are emerging, you have to ask yourself, well, you know, it's not, you can't just blame other people. You can't just blame your circumstances. You can't just blame the people around you. You're responsible. You have to take responsibility. You have to be accountable. You have to, whatever it happens to be, you know, whether it's, you know, well, I'm obviously not cut out to work in this kind of environment, to work in this culture, so maybe I'm better off going it alone. You have to be accountable for your behavior and responsible for your behavior and responsible for changing, you know, those flaws that you become aware of. And we all tend to, as human nature, to put those things to the back of our minds, to kind of brush them into the furthest recesses, because they make us a little bit uncomfortable. We don't like facing them. It's easier to carry on without them up to a point. But then life becomes painful. Something becomes painful. We get that pain point that is too much. And we know that we have to change. And at that point, that's the point where most people then start to look for some help, some coaching, or some therapy.
That's why I don't
something.
believe in mistakes. That's why I don't believe in mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't believe there are mistakes. I believe that's the universe keeping this shit interesting. Because if you didn't have, that's why they're called growing pains and not growing tickles. If you didn't have that inadequacy, that thing that is less than everything else, you'd have no reason to seek. And the promise is seek and you shall find. So in order to keep getting up and having a higher diving board to reach for, you have to understand that there are higher diving boards to reach for. So, I mean, I get it, but I see a lot of people, and I'm going to just say this, you know, that's why I hate using the term when I put what I do out to the world, coach. Because it's been so bastardized, it's been so watered down. It's just like, you know, it doesn't mean shit anymore. And so, you know, I want people, I wish for people that they would understand that, you know, in whatever you feel is an inadequacy for you is really an opportunity for you. To say, okay, you know, I want an E and an R. I'm already great, but I wish to be greater. I'm already strong, but I hope to be stronger. I'm already nice, but I seek to be nicer, because that means I am more than I was when I woke up today. So let me ask you something, because I was listening to your description of what you do, but I was trying to figure out, how does someone sit there and go, what she just describes me? How do people get to the point to know that you're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you? What is that thing you think that makes them say, aha, that's the one for me? How do you think they come to that understanding?
If they're stuck, well, first of all, I talked about patterns. So if they've noticed certain patterns and they can't get out of those patterns on their own, and they just feel as though they're on a treadmill or a merry-go-round, and they can't get off that on their own.
Yes.
If they are, stuck, and they keep reaching it at the beginning of every year, things are going to change, and 12 months later, nothing has changed.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think people find it, well, first of all, there's defining change. What does change look like? And I think people want it, but can't necessarily define it, and don't necessarily know what that looks like. It could also be fear of it, of course. It can be fear of change and what that's going to mean, not just for them, but for the people that they live with, the people around them, their relationships. It can be fear of letting go. It can be fear even of success. People can be afraid of what, of that, of taking that step. They want it, but they know that it could disrupt a lot of things. And are they willing to pay the price for that? But ultimately, really, it really is about being stuck and being in a certain pattern that you can't get out of on your own, that you need some clarity, and that you are actually, as well, you're looking for peace. Your peace is disturbed in some way. You're going through some kind of peace disturbance, whether that is external or whether it's internal, whether it's due to circumstances beyond your control or circumstances that you created yourself. And it's, you recognize maybe, or are prepared to admit that that your values foundations need attending to. That when you look at that, I always make the analogy of a wall, is the way that I see it, is that if you've built on high values foundations, your wall is nice and stable. It's going to, it's going to protect you. This is why I have a shield on my LinkedIn page. I've got the values differentiator, and it's bookmarked by shields, because your values ultimately will protect you. They're going to protect you from yourself, protect you from temptations, protect you from making bad choices, bad decisions. And so I'm losing my train of thought here, but anyway, yeah, your values will protect you. They will shield you. The wall, okay, you need it to be solid. And you might find that it's pretty solid, but there are a few cracks in it. You might find that it's kind of a bit higgledy-piggledy and it's solid at one end, but crumbling at the other. Or you might just want to take a sledgehammer to it and start rebuilding it from scratch. So for me, it's about aligning our lives, our goals, our passions, our wants with our values, and having all of our ducks in a row so that our values are serving us and serving the people around us as well. Okay.
Our values.
So, our values.
What about the person who doesn't know what that definition means? Because that's I was going to ask you, do you feel that values and principles are one and the same? Because, if I grow up in a place, or I'm raised, or generational things are passed down, and the values aren't within it, then how do I understand that those values aren't valuable?
Exactly. So if we start with beliefs, first of all, so what we believe, what we've been taught, what we've absorbed about the world, form our values. Our values are emotors, kind of like they're the things that that decide what we buy, who we're friends with, who we do business with. Our principles are based on our values. Our principles are rules that we create that are based on our values. So, for example, just to pluck honesty, for example, if just as a simple explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you value honesty, you might say, "I never ever tell a lie." It's on principle, I will never tell an untruth. But the exception to that rule might be if you don't want to hurt somebody.
Right.
If you're trying to protect somebody's feelings, you might say, right, this is my rule, but there might be an exception to that rule. This is a principle, but there might be an exception to it. If you value recognition, you might say, You know, I'm always going to, you know, tell the world about my achievements, because if I don't, nobody else is going to. So I'm going to make sure that whenever I do something, everybody's going to know about it.
Marsha.
But
All about me.
but the exception to that might be, but if my friend is going through a hard time and she's gone through the breakup of a relationship, or she's lost somebody, or she's depressed, I might actually not do that, because I'm going to be sensitive to their feelings. So I'm going to withdraw from doing that. So you have a rule, but you also have the exception. So that's what our principles are, really.
Okay.
The principles kind of create a sort of boundary. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. I want to turn the corner. What do we got? We got 6 minutes, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Wow, that's gone quickly.
It has. It always does, doesn't it? And
yeah.
what do you, you know, one of the things that I know for myself, personally speaking, that really undermined my efforts for decades was that I was consistently breaking covenants that I had made with myself. So what do you feel about that? And what have you seen in your work with others? You know, for instance, a person says, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds, but down the road, they've gained it. And I believe that a lot of it, in my own opinion, in my work with my coaching, is that there's a difference, and a lot of people don't understand it, between want and need. Want is like a wish, but need is attached to some plan. Well, because if you don't lose the weight and you keep adding to it down the road, your doctor's going to sit you down and say, listen, we need to talk. We need to do something, or I'm going to have to put you on insulin. Why? Because you need to lose 40 pounds. Well, how do I do it? Well, you need to shop better, because you need to cook better, because you need to eat better to lose the weight you want. So there it is. Tell me how you feel about that.
Yeah, you've got to find the motivator, haven't you? I mean, that's what you're saying. You have to find the whatever it is for you that is going to motivate you to want to take that journey. And I think it's, again, we're all going to slip back from time to time. We're all going to have those, you know, those days where we fall and fail, or, you know, gain a pound instead of losing the pound. But we have to be forgiving of ourselves, and then that's the thing. It's that, going back to the resilience and tenacity again. Forgive yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, because the harder you are on yourself, the more likely it is that you're going to quit, because, you know, that toughness is, again, painful. So no, it's part of the journey. It's going to happen, right? But then tomorrow is different. It's a new chapter. Start again. Up,
down, up. Yeah? It's just like the pulse of life, like your heartbeat.
It is. And get somebody who's going to champion you, who's going to encourage you. Yeah. Get an accountability partner, or get a coach, or get somebody who is, you know, going to make that journey with you, but also understand the journey as well, and say the right things, and also make sure that, you know, they know the right things as well. What can they say to you? What can I say to you? Or what can you say to them, Dr. Lauren, which is going to help them to succeed? What words work for them? What's motivated them in the past?
Right.
What language? Yeah. Is going to encourage them and is going to help them to achieve that goal. Yeah. They're in control, and they can tell us, actually, I respond well to this and I don't respond well to that. So if I'm struggling, you know, this is what I would like you to say to me, or this is how I would like you to hold me accountable. But just keep going. Just keep going.
There it is. That's it right there. As long as you keep going, there's a chance.
Exactly.
There are possibilities, and you are still growing. So, you know, as we get out of here, I wanted to thank you for showing up today and pouring into all of us. On your screen, everyone, there are 2 roads to Annalisa that out of many, but these are the primary 2 she wants you to check out today. I've already taken the liberty of dropping the link tree inside of your comment section. So it is there, and you can find the LinkedIn and all of the other roads inside of that one. So that is why we've dropped that one in for you to use at the conclusion here in just a moment of today's broadcast. So what would you say to people that are considering clicking on the link to come to talk to you? What would you say? What would you hope that they would be? How do I put this? What if people could remember one thing about you from today's interview? What would you hope that one thing would be?
I'll be honest with you, and I just know that what I do today isn't because it's trendy or fashionable. It's because of my own journey, my own experiences, and that I want to save you from the pain of going through, how I've had to get here myself, and to help you to achieve what you need to achieve, with less pain, and to grow with less pain. So
there you go. And I'm gonna tell you, I've seen a number of testimonials that speak to the fact that this is what this lady does, and she does it well. So get over and check her out. And if you don't find it there, just keep looking. Just keep looking and follow her. She has a lot of great guests, and you will find. And you do a thing on LinkedIn.
Right. Okay. So I've been leading Little Values Group for the last year, and they wanted to take what they'd learned and do something with it. So I suggested we did LinkedIn audio. So we do it every 2 weeks, every second Friday at the moment. You said it was actually about passion. It's actually called Passion Led Us here, and we decided to call it that because it was everybody's passion for values and purpose that led them to sign up to my program in the first place.
There you go.
So we've talked about adding value, we've talked about integrity, we've talked about self-worth, and last week we talked about attitude, and the next one is going to be on commitment. So
there's a scary word for a lot of people. So listen, thank you so much. You guys use the links.
Thank you.
And listen, thank you all. Thank all of you. We couldn't do it without you. When we come together, we begin fulfilling the promise that where two or more come together with a like-minded attitude, a spirit of being of service to each other and to the world, spiritual magic comes out of that spigot. So listen, come back tomorrow morning, God willing. I'll be right out on the front porch to welcome you at 8 a.m. Central, as we do every Monday through Friday. And we have another illuminated conversation coming up right here on Bathrobe Moments. And as we leave, as always, I say to you, I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you all tomorrow. Get out today and find your highest self in this day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Annalise. A beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need a space.